We don't step into the Wayback Machine very often around here, but today's game, Furnace, from designer Ivan Lashin and publisher Arcane Wonders, recently got a reprint and is generally available once again. Furnace is a crash course in both 19th century manufacturing as well as bidding and engine building. Gen Con 2021 also announced an upcoming expansion entitled Interbellum, which is not a gun-fu movie starring Keanu Reeves. From steam to coal, let's turn up the pressure. Past our fancy facial hair, we'll find the game's 8-page rulebook. Plenty of illustrated examples abound here, and there's even a spot in the back for variants and two-player rules, which do a great job modifying the half of the game that's just bidding. Setting that aside, we have our insert here, which neatly houses our resource tokens of yellow oil barrels, slate steel, black coal, red balloons, and green clovers. I wonder where those went. Our player bidding tokens of each color reside here by size, and around the corner we have some ho-hum cardboard tokens, as well as the round tracker and player markers. Finally, we'll find the game's two-player die and the game's cards, replete with nostalgic, wind-swept artwork of what were basically sweatshops and child labor mills. Fun, yeah? I sprung extra for the playmat, which is supposed to sit cleanly underneath the insert, but can sometimes take a few tries to get cleanly in there. Let's set this one up and see if we can't find something slightly less Oliverian. The kid, not the actor. The goal of the game. You and up to 3 more of your capitalist friends will spend about an hour trying to accumulate the most capitalism fuel, or as some would say, money. The player with the most money after 4 rounds wins. Each round consists of an auction phase where you'll try to earn resources as well as production cards to spend those resources on, and a production phase where you'll put your engine to the test. To begin, give each player a random startup card and the resources depicted at the top. Each player will also get a capitalist card, giving them a special power throughout the game. If anyone has the tuxedoed pipeman, give them the uncolored 2 bidding marker. Each player will choose a color and get the token and bidding markers of that color. Place everything else in the center of the table and shuffle the deck of cards. Time to make the donut. Oil. Rounds always begin with the auction phase, so start by laying out some number of cards from the deck onto the display with their basic side up. For our 3-player game, we'll see 7 total. Starting with the first player and going around, each industrialist will put exactly 1 of their bidding tokens on a card. The rules here is that you can't ever have more than 1 of your own tokens on a card, and there can't be 2 discs with the same number on any card. Around and around you will go, placing bidding tokens on the cards available until no one has any discs left. To resolve the auction, you will place the discs from the largest to the smallest in a stack on top. For every disc that isn't the bottom one on the stack, give that player some number of resources on the top of the card, multiplied by the number on the disc. In this example, the gold-colored player will receive 4 coal, which is 2 coal times 2. The last disc in the pile is returned to the player who played it along with the card itself, and nothing else. They will not get any resources from that card here. Do this from right to left until all the cards have been assigned, and then we'll produce like the good workers that we are. Once the rules are understood and trust has been established, all players will resolve their production at the same time. But for ease of our example, and for your first couple rounds, you should do this individually so people see how it works. Each of your cards has 2 production functions on the bottom, and actions have to be done in order. One at a time, you'll activate your company cards, performing the actions listed. Once a card has been activated in a round, it can't be activated again, so ordering these is important. The second, lower action on a card is only performed when a card has been upgraded, which can only be done when you have an upgrade token available and a card that lets you spend it. Gameplay then takes a very important order as you figure out how best to perform your actions to earn money. When everyone's done producing, roll the round marker down, pass the first player marker over, and begin the auction phase by dealing out new cards. The first thing that I'm going to say about Furnace is that of all I've read about it online, the major complaint people seem to have is actually my favorite thing about the game. It's done in 4 rounds. The issue here being that as soon as your engine is fully functional, the game's over. Yes, exactly. 2 sides to this. As the owner of the engine, I only really need 1 turn of it working the way I want in order to get my serotonin, and then I'm good. I don't need to grind the other players into soot in order to call it a satisfying experience. On the other side, if I see that another player has built a frictionless perpetual motion machine, I don't want to spend a half hour seeing it go brrrr. I get it. Well done, let's move on. So, for me and my table, this is a blessing in disguise. Another very satisfying aspect of Furnace is the overall table presence. With the clean art, minimal iconography, and limit of 3 resources to convert, there's not a ton to understand before I can really dig into the game. It's all right there on the table. The variable capitalist powers are interesting, but not game-breaking, and I've yet to see one that's far and away better than the others. Also, it's very pretty and elegant, and once everyone's familiar with the production elements, it can play very quickly. Finally, the auction system in this game is one of the best. The bidding coins played face up means that you can actively suss out when someone is just trying for resources and never bid over them, instead sticking them with the card. The first phase is where games can be won or lost, and it's fun all the way up to the last token. Where Furnace isn't so hot is the flip side of the simplicity coin. There aren't a whole lot of differing strategies to develop. There are highly desirable cards and other cards that make those cards work. There's a Paragon engine in this game, and everyone's trying to get there, or find a less good version that still works while stealing valuable components from others. Once you've played this a handful of times, you've seen what it can do. If you love that, then you'll likely not get bored. If you, like me, wish that there was just a tiny bit more, we're stuck waiting to see what the upcoming Interbellum expansion brings. Hopefully, a few more neatly tuned capitalist cards to shake things up a bit. Furnace is a game that aims to accomplish a single mission and does so with the efficiency of a well-tuned machine. Whether or not that's what you're looking for on your game night is a question only you can answer. Let's go through our checklist before I give you my final thoughts. In the box, rulebook clear and non-gender pronouns. The rulebook is well laid out and does a just fine job of explaining the game. We had very little trouble in our first learning game and didn't need the rules at all for subsequent games. The rules use third-person pronouns they and them to refer to the player. Iconography clear. Pretty much. The coloring and shape of the in-game resources are obvious, but it might take a round or 2 before you're able to interpret the shorthand depicted on the cards. Still, once you grasp it, it's immediately understandable, and we didn't have any questions at all towards the end of our very first game. Packaging well done. Mostly, yes. The insert is well designed, and if you can avoid shaking the game too vigorously whilst upright, things should stay in place when stored vertically. That said, the optional playmat is supposed to live under the insert and can be a little finicky to get into place. On the table, good representation. Despite the game's 19th century theme, there's precious little in the way of depicted workers on the cards. We have our top-hatted gentleman boss on the cover, and of the remaining 4 capitalists, 2 are women and 2 are people of color. Component quality, pretty good. The wooden bidding tokens are nice, and the cards have a quality thickness to them. While I'm not a fan of the money tokens, there's not a whole lot of interaction with them once you acquire them, so it shouldn't offend too badly. The round tracker card with the rolling marker is delightful. Replay value, medium. While there are a bunch of cards to pick from and a few different ways to turn coal into oil and steel, some cards are reprints of others with only a different bidding reward, and some cards will eventually be irrelevant in your engine. Depending on your table, this could get stale faster than you'd like. Fun to lose. Yes, primarily you're building your own engine and only playing defense on the bidding phases with precious little player interaction at all. Most of our games have been close, and even if you manage to get a spectacular engine going, you're likely only doing so right at the end. Furnace was one of the games I've been drooling over for the past couple years as it quickly sold out and we waited for a reprint. Now that I have it, I'm glad that I do, but I have to keep reminding myself what this game is and not what I want it to be. As an introductory engine building game, it's great. As a game that I want to chew on for a bit and be able to elegantly maneuver around for a while, it misses. I'm hopeful that the incoming expansion addresses some of that. I think with just a little bit more to do, this game could easily become a staple in my collection. As always, I'm Nicholas, reminding you to help protect the game population. Always sleeve your cards. Hey everyone, if you liked our video, please hit that sub button and ring the bell for notifications. Check out all of our other offerings at goodluckhighfive.com, and please consider becoming a patron of the channel over at patreon.com/GLHFmagic. It helps us keep making videos, reviews, and podcasts. You can become a member for any dollar amount. We're also always looking for new games to review. You can reach me at glhfnicholas@gmail.com. You can follow me, Captain N the Game Master, at CaptainNGM on Twitter and Instagram, and follow the channel at GLHF Magic. Remember, please shop at your local game store whenever possible. Until next time, I'm Nicholas, and good luck. High five.